Hi, so this is a question from Maya, and Maya says, why at the beginning of recovery did I want the cricket food? For example, when it was slightly burned or misshapen. How is that a benefit to famine? Well, first of all, I think that because eating disorders, because they're genetic, so that means that they've evolved probably for a reason, and the reason I look at that is response to famine. It doesn't mean that every single thing that we do that's weird is directly in a response to famine, but a lot of them do actually make sense that they might be. So also the other thing is that although we all have very similar traits, depressingly similar sometimes, it's not like every single person with an eating disorder does exactly the same thing. So not everybody does compulsive movement, for example. Sorry, Teddy is trying to chew my headphones. And I'd say the majority of people with eating disorders actually only want to eat perfect food. That's something I've spoken about plenty of times. But I've certainly heard this sort of thing here where you're saying, like, I only get to eat the imperfect food or the misfit food. And I think that something that does, as a theme, run through eating disorders a lot is the martyr effect, or that's what I call it. But I think that a lot of that is, we have this thing where we just have to put everybody else's needs first, and we actually sort of get a bit of a dopamine hit about doing that. And I think that that's because, well, the reason I think that is because I think the people with the eating disorders would be the people that would be very hyperactive. We would have been hunting and gathering food, we would have been scouting, we would have not been wanting to eat the food, but although we'd have a high drive to gather food, we wouldn't want to eat it, so we'd basically be feeding the rest of the tribe. And I think that part of this comes from that. It's the same way that those of us that just love to feed other people gives us a dopamine hit. It's sort of like, well, if you do eat, you're just going to eat the scrag ends that no one else was going to eat. Because if you ate, say, something that was presentable or nice, or somebody else might want to eat it, you're depriving them of eating it, and that means you're being nasty and greedy and all that stuff, right? Does that make sense? Anyway, that's the way I see it for those of us that do have that trait. And some of us have both. Like, I think I had both. I both had the thing that I could only eat stuff that was perfect. So if I actually made myself food, I could only eat the absolutely perfect food. However, say if I went to something and somebody had a plate of brownies and at the end I sort of smuggled myself away one, I'd only allow myself to have one if it was everybody else had eaten their complete full fill and they had sort of left over the end bits that no one wants. Then I would feel that that was okay for me to, I wouldn't eat it at the moment, I'd take it home and then it would be added to my nighttime binge because various reasons, didn't eat during the day, or anything normal actually. So I sort of have both of those things going on. I can absolutely identify with both of them, which is really weird when we have eating disorders, aren't we? Good news is that, well, quite the opposite now. Someone comes along with a plate of brownies, I'm having the fat one in the middle, the best one. Anyway, all right, bye.